Warning! Warning! Emergency broadcasting to me. Please do not change the station. I repeat, do not change the station. We interrupt your scheduled viewing to bring you this emergency broadcast, coming to you from the Paranormal Project studio. Mothers, look up your sons, and fathers, look up your daughters. It's the men behind the curtain.
Good evening, everyone.
This is our first episode.
I'm Dan, this is Brad, and we are the men behind the curtain.
We are paranormal investigators of collectively about 35 odd years experience between the both of us.
That's it, yep.
Not that you'd think that we're professionals.
We are completely serious in this type of environment, alright? We are the most serious people on this face of the earth.
Say that with white face
spat
paint all over you. Anyway, we are the men behind the curtain. This is our new series, and what we're basically going to be doing through this is reviewing horror movies. But we're going to do it from a paranormal perspective. So what that basically means is that we're going to break down the movies. We're going to figure out what Hollywood got right in the movie, what they got wrong. We're going to try and give everyone as much information as possible. Obviously, we're not experts, or we think we are. But in any case, if you do miss anything, put it in the comments, and we'll get to that at some point.
We are experts, aren't we?
Yeah, well, we are.
Yeah.
That's what we're going
That's
for.
what we're going for. Yep.
Yeah. In any case, the movie that we're doing tonight, would you like to introduce it?
Yes, it's Paranormal Activity.
So, with our Paranormal Project page, we actually put on about 2 odd months ago about what do you think the most realistic movie that you've seen that portrays the paranormal, and that was the number 1 pick. So we're going to break it all down. We've got a few clips picked out from the movie. We're going to analyse it. But basically, we've got 3 questions that we want to pose towards the audience here tonight in terms of reviewing the movie. So the first one would be, what are the signs of a haunted house? If you want to go and let us know the second one there.
What is the cause of a haunting and an attachment even?
Yep.
And
the third one?
Yes, how real is it?
Yeah, how real is it? So, and we'll give our own personal rating on that, but in terms of the authenticity, I think because it was made on such a low budget, like it was made on $15,000.
Definitely.
Made by first-time filmmaker Oren Peli. It was actually made in 2007, but it got distributed in 2009. It was because it went through a bit of a reshoot. Old mate Steven Spielberg saw the movie, and he was mighty impressed by it. Yeah. But he just didn't like the ending. So they did 3 alternative endings for it. Yep. So Spielberg saw it and he thought, this is good. Yep. Paramount Pictures bought it for $350,000. And they reshot the ending. So they spent $200,000, and the last, I think, 2 minutes of the movie is where that $200,000 went. Obviously marketing and stuff as well. But
because in that last couple of minutes too, throughout the whole movie, there isn't a special effect. They're practical effects, but no special effects until that last bit of the movie where the girl's face changes. 100%. It's the only special effect in it.
An old mate flying into the camera.
Yeah, that was shot multiple times and cropped together to make it look like he was flying back. So
look at you! You've done your homework.
I know, right? Oh, he actually jumped a few times in different frames, and then they cropped that together to make it look like he was flying towards the camera.
Shit, the best.
That's how they did it.
There you go.
So,
Wow.
So,
but it was pretty good in the sense that, like, for a $15,000 movie, forget the $200,000 that they put into it, but on $15,000 they made a pretty solid movie.
Well, how much did it make?
$193 million. Jeez. It was the second most profitable film ever made.
Right, so what was the first one?
We'll get to that on our 3rd episode.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, we got something in the works there.
I'm excited now.
But in any case, I think we'll just introduce the first clip now, which is going to revolve around the question of what are the signs of a haunted house?
Thud. Where?
Maybe downstairs.
That's a pretty extreme example
that's
in
it.
terms of like what that was.
Yeah, that's it.
But normally, like, some of the things that you get are like the strange noises, like the knocking the footsteps. They tend to be like the really big things that happen in terms of what people report to us.
Definitely, yeah.
And that seems to be the main auditory kind of
the
stuff.
knocks in the walls and stuff like that.
Yeah. In particular, like 3 knocks. That tends to have a lot of significance, especially in this movie.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, if you should have watched the movie. I mean, if you're watching a review, it makes sense that you've watched the movie.
It's only been 12 years.
Yeah,
12 plus
you know,
years.
it's like, we'll tell you something about The Sixth Sense that you may not like if you haven't seen it. But basically, it revolves around a demonic haunting. And we use that word lightly when it comes to the paranormal because it's one of those words that I think has been very like glamorized in terms of Hollywood.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. And lately with all the paranormal shows and all that sort of stuff, everything now is apparently demonic or a demon.
Yeah.
And
you made a good point when we were watching the movie. There was something that you said, and it's like, for this movie to have the story that it has, it had to revolve around a demon kind of thing.
That's it. To make the story flow and everything like that, it really did.
Yeah.
And because what are you going to do?
Yeah,
that's it. They're just going to keep knocking and all that sort of stuff, and then what the movie ends.
Yeah. I mean, even something like Poltergeist, if you look back at a classic movie like that, that's basically a demonic haunting in the sense of what was happening there.
Well, exactly right.
It's called Poltergeist.
Poltergeist,
so,
yeah, so it's a bit different.
Yeah. Call it Demon.
Demon, yeah, that's it. So.
But like things like the strange noises that were happening, footsteps, the growl, oh shit.
Yeah.
The moving keys and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now we've had something happen with moving keys with us. Remember when we used to do tours at a location up at Mount Tamborine here on the Gold Coast, and we stayed the night at a manor up there.
Yeah.
And there was a little girl who apparently moved keys.
That's right. Was it in your room?
Yeah, that was in our room. We shared a bed. I heard that you forgot that.
I think I just blocked that out of my head. I think.
But like they reported in the room that like people who stayed at the residence, they would have their keys like picked up and moved and stuff like that.
So do I believe that or not? That's the thing. Like, I don't know.
You should. You're a ghost.
Yeah, well,
you
that's
tell
true.
me.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I mean, because you're a lot more skeptical than I am.
Yeah,
definitely.
In
that sense.
I don't know. If it was a ghost, it'd have to take a lot of energy to be able to pick up a solid object and be able to move it.
But who are you to define the rules of what they're able to do?
Well, that's it, because a lot of the stuff that we do have is just.
What do you think, your old mate like Guy and Patrick Swayze in Ghost Like, you telling me the rules?
Me and Patrick Swayze, we're making a fucking little pottery thing.
Oh, yeah. I envy you. So much.
Man crush right there.
Yeah. But getting back onto the subject, I suppose, instead of Patrick Swayze here.
Next episode is all about Patrick Swayze and Ghost.
Season 3. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I guess one thing I'll bring up, the nightmare thing.
Yeah.
Because that's something that we do get a lot of people tell us about, like nightmares and like having vivid dreams, and like I know a lot of people go that into sleep paralysis. Yeah, there's a lot of good like documentaries and stuff on that, but like there's other times where legitimate stuff happens, and like you like call it premonition or precognition or something like that, where people can like predict things or see things, and it's like preternatural, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. But how often does that happen?
How often does it happen versus how real is it?
Yeah,
I think that's more the question.
Yeah, that's it.
And like, there's not much concrete proof out there, I guess, in that sense. But there's intuition. There's people. I suppose we've come across a lot of psychics in our time, and there's some that I hold in a very high regard.
Oh, for sure, definitely.
There's some that have known things that they've had no business knowing.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it was like Old Mate in the movie as well, where he come in like, and that's one thing I'll say about that movie is where he's come in as a paranormal investigator. He did ask the right questions in terms of like what was happening to get an idea of what the signs were.
He should have picked up on stuff that first time he came in as well.
Yeah, but he also declared straight up that it was a demon.
Yeah,
and that was that was more his.
But that's to push the story along as well.
Of course. Yeah.
So, but he asked the right questions, and he asked all the relevant questions, and he did the right thing.
I mean, minus having all the tech and everything like that. In terms of his interview process and in terms of how he conducted himself in terms of the questions that he asked to get to the point of what the signs were.
Definitely.
And if it was a legitimate haunting.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of process that we would do, or a similar process in the questions we ask.
Yeah, you've got to have a preliminary investigation.
Yeah.
You've got to sit down, you've got to have that interview process.
Yeah, exactly right.
And then you've got to try and debunk as much as you can before you classify anything as a
kind
of a paranormal experience.
100%.
So, like nightmares and all that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah.
You can't really classify them as paranormal experiences either.
But it's more of an uncanny thing because it does tend to happen a lot with, say, like more like poltergeist cases and stuff. Maybe it's that mindset where people get into that, like that aura, I guess, and that energy. They put out that negative energy, and maybe that has something to do with like not getting enough sleep. It could be part sleep paralysis.
Yep.
But it could be that fear that feeds it.
Yeah, well, that's it as well. Yeah, exactly. It
Yeah.
kind of opens themselves up to something that might be out there.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah. Which I suppose brings us up to our next question. There is, what is the cause?
So this, let's call it a haunting, has happened to you before moving into this house?
Yes. It started when I was 8. I was living with my family, of course, and shared a room with my younger sister, Christy. She was 5. And at that time, we both, experienced whatever it was. I would feel the breathing would wake me up, and I would wake her up, and I would see the, I guess you'd call it just this mass, like the shadowy just figure that would be at the foot of my bed. And it was always at the foot of my bed. It was never at the foot of her bed, but she did.
So then, from the time you were 8 years old until now, have you experienced this periodically over the ensuing years?
Yes. From 13 on, it's happened periodically. Over the past few weeks, things have started happening again.
So when you tell me that it's moved from where you were living when you were 8, again when you were living someplace else when you were 13, and now here, it seems to me that that's what we're dealing with. Something that's basically connected to you.
There you go. There you go. So that's pretty much like the attachment factor. So that was like in terms of how she was like acting, what's happened through her life, like that fire and everything like that.
Exactly. But it hasn't happened all the time though.
No.
So it happened when she was, I think it was 8, and then it was 13 to now. So it's happened periodically.
Well, she did mention that it happened like during those times, but it's only just started to escalate. Once she moved in with Micah, which I think is like there was a few things that he did that I guess didn't sit as well with in terms of like he was provoking it quite a bit.
He had the macho man type of he's like, come on, let's do this.
But then old mate, the investigator who come in, who by the way he actually is a real paranormal investigator too. Yeah.
Oh jeez.
They got him I think as a consultant, but he come on because it was a shoestring budget.
That's
so,
it. But at the same time he was perfect for the role.
Yeah. He was.
He asked all the right questions.
He did. He conducted it like a proper investigation.
Exactly.
I don't think he shouldn't have jumped to the conclusion of demonic.
No.
Because that's something that even if, like, we had an inkling that it was, you wouldn't necessarily want, like, the client knowing that straight away and putting that worry into their head.
Definitely not. But for the movie to progress forward,
that's it, yes.
Yeah.
But
it had to come in.
Yeah, we're not talking about the movie in terms of, like, we're talking about the realism of it.
Yeah, but at the same time, is how real would that be? Like, how much energy would that take to be able to do that type of stuff?
Well, that's where the energies are built up because he was provoking it. He was giving that energy, feeding it like a negative energy and stuff like that in particular. Would you say with using the camera, do you think that that's a sign of like provoking it?
No.
Okay.
No. Personally, I think it's documenting the experiences.
Because another thing that I'll bring up, sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's right.
Thought there.
Yeah, that's right.
Because we think differently on this opinion here.
Yeah.
And this is something that we've always been very divided on. The Ouija board.
Yeah, okay.
So, like, not that this movie necessarily they used the Ouija board, but it was brought into the house.
Yes.
And then you saw what happened with the whole, the planchette just going crazy.
That's
burning something in. So, I guess
What's your thoughts on it?
Well, that is a cause, I think. It can cause hauntings. Like, I'm dead set against using Ouija boards, as you know. And as I'd say to anyone, that's one thing that I won't cross into. And there's a good reason for it.
Okay.
And I just come from this as a paranormal investigator point of view.
Yeah.
we rely a lot on equipment. So we don't have a sixth sense or a psychic ability. So we're relying on equipment and things of that scientific nature to tell us.
Definitely,
All of our equipment that we use has nothing to do with manifesting or using our body as a conduit, except for a Ouija board.
Okay.
You're relying on the spirit to use your body in terms to move that.
Which is a form of possession.
Well, it's inviting something in.
Yeah.
And that's the whole cause of some of those hauntings. And that's why I believe that there's cause of hauntings. Now, I know you think that they're bullshit, but I see it from that point of view.
Yeah. They're majorly overhyped. It's like...
Well, you say that, but...
The same time, it was produced as a toy back in the late 1800s.
I get that.
Okay, so to get a patent for the toy, they had to acknowledge that it could be real.
Yeah, okay.
So the creator and whoever else was there, to get the patent, they had to prove that it worked. So it had to spell out the guy who was reviewing the product, so they'd give him a patent to make sure it was real. So the two of them are there, and it spelled out his name.
Okay.
And it freaked the guy out.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden it got the patent, and that's how it grew from there. But then you've got some Ouija boards that were like, they had batteries in them. Batteries in the planchette and all that sort of stuff.
I can acknowledge that there's a lot of fakery and a lot of hoax that goes into it, but my overall impression of it is that's one bear that I don't want to poke. Like, we'll go to a haunted place, people will report all sorts of shit. Shit could be flying off the walls and that, but a Ouija board is just something that I'm personally not comfortable doing because I feel that it is just opening that door because you're using your body as that. What the fuck have you got there?
What's saying that? We have a Ouija board. So
that's what that was fucking doing there.
So Brad,
Well, there was a coaster.
I would like you
No, get fucked.
to put your finger on
No,
it.
I'm not doing it.
No,
I'm
put
not
your finger
doing
on
it.
Put your finger on
No,
it.
fuck
And
that.
we're going to do a secret chant.
No, we're not.
Yeah, it's
Not in this fucking studio,
No.
I'm afraid.
We're not. We're going to do a secret chant.
I'm already talking to a ghost. I don't need to talk to another one. Fuck that.
No. Come on.
Put it the fuck away.
No.
I'm not using it.
What? Just put
No.
your fingers on it. Just put your fingers on it.
No. Put your fingers on. You know how fucking suspicious that sounds?
It doesn't. It sounds
I'm
totally
not doing your
suspicious.
fucking Ouija
No,
board.
no, just do what? Just put your fingers on it, and then close your eyes.
I just think that that's just opening a door that you cannot close. Like, in terms of having something attached to you, having something come through and attach, you're giving it permission by using one of these. That's how I feel.
But is that because of a spirit, or because you told yourself that you've got an attachment now? So you're manifesting all those feelings that an attachment may bring.
Well, that could be people's paranoia playing on themselves. That could be EMF. That could be other factors.
Exactly.
But what I'm talking more about is you opening, say, your energy, your aura, whatever your physical, your aura in that sense that things can attach to themselves.
Yeah, but as long as you've got you do all the protection that you're doing, your white light, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Then you should be fine.
Well, they say condoms are 99% effective, but you know, you just don't know.
I'm still in.
We're going to the next clip.
Oh, shit.
We're going to the
Yeah,
next
yeah,
clip.
yeah.
All right, the next clip is.
And I'm going to spell it out. What's the next clip?
Well, you tell me.
I don't know.
You're spelling it out.
Yeah. Oh, it's totally demon. It's the demon clip.
It's spelled out 3 letters.
Yeah, it said demon.
All right, cut to the clip. Cut to the clip. Now, I guess getting back to things in terms of how real that is. Now, we've heard many cases. We've had many people approach us, even in terms of like coming up for an investigation and asking us about or telling us about their experiences like that.
Yeah.
So, like being dragged out or being pulled out of bed, having the sheets pulled over them. Do you think that added to the authenticity of how real that clip kind of felt?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care who you are. If that happened to you, you would be fucking shitting
You'd
bricks.
be shitting bricks.
Although I'm going to say, it is on my bucket list.
I know it is. You've always spoken about how you've wanted to be dragged down a hallway.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie. Down that hallway, there'd be a big smear of shit piss while I'm ticking it off my bucket list and screaming like a fucking little kid.
A lot of things that they got right in this movie, I felt at least.
First one was the documentation.
Yeah.
They documented everything with video cameras and EVPs and stuff. They did their own EVPs and everything like that. At the same time, if I'm listening to an EVP that someone else has recorded, I can't guarantee that it is a paranormal experience.
Because the evidence is only as good as the person's word, but at the end of the day, unless they experience that themselves,
exactly,
it's hard to convince a million people, everyone else, that your evidence is the best. You could have been there, you could have been the only person there, you could have recorded something. Yeah. It could be irrefutable, but by the same right, there's going to be people who tear that down.
Of course.
You have to be willing to have thick skin, and you have to be willing to take that criticism, I think.
Definitely.
Getting back to the movie side of things, with what they got right, what your overall impression of what they got right in the movie.
Okay, the psychic, the investigator.
Yep.
The questions he asked, how he wasn't judgmental.
Yep.
Either.
No.
He listened to the story.
He asked the right questions.
Asked the right questions. Didn't judge.
Yep.
Had a good chat to him.
Yep.
That was all good.
Yep.
Until he said it was a demon.
Yeah. 100%. I agree there.
Yeah.
Because that was the one thing he shouldn't have put in their heads to start off with. And so I think in terms of what you see there, that it's obviously, it is attachment.
Yeah.
That is something that we have encountered in terms of the years that we've been doing this. That's one of the many cases that we find with why there could be a legitimate haunting.
Well, definitely. And I think being able to see a ghost on camera is pretty rare as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a ghost. But I've felt things, I've heard things that I can't explain.
No.
So, I don't know about seeing a ghost.
I mean, I've seen some shit as well. I've seen shit that would turn you white. To quote one of the greatest movies of all time.
Fuck yeah.
There we go. Had to get that in somewhere.
That's it.
But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of things that I think the movie got right as well. Like the time frame of everything happening, like it tended to happen around like that 2:30 to 3:30, 4 o'clock mark.
Definitely, so the witching hour and all that sort of stuff.
all that sort of stuff. So a lot of it tended to go around that. I think in terms of what they put on the screen, even though it was sensationalized, there was still a lot of
authenticity to it.
Yeah, exactly right. Maybe it was on a shoestring budget, but at the same time, I think that added to the realism as well.
Definitely. And considering the fact that back in the day, everything was still on tapes.
Yeah.
It wasn't all digitalised or anything like that. So I think
he had a pretty high-tech camera for the sense, and he had a big fucking light on it.
Yeah, that's it.
But, but I mean, it's just being real. He had the EVP recorders. He was pretty well prepared in terms of how he was setting it up.
As good as the video footage was, you want to correlate that with entries in the book as well.
Yeah,
as much information as possible. Time, dates, everything else.
Yeah.
The smallest detail will go a long way.
Exactly right. That's all we can do. Like at the end of the day, we're there to document, to observe and report.
Yep, exactly. And debunk.
Yes.
Debunk's pretty much what we do first off. So
very much so.
I'll debunk as much as I possibly can before considering anything.
Oh, but you will.
Paranormal experience.
Coming from a ghost. Yeah.
Exactly. Am I even real?
Yeah.
I might just be a figment of your imagination.
We'll get into that on episode 2. Maybe. We'll see what you manifest as that time. But okay, overall, just to wrap things up, what would you give? Say out of 1 out of 10 ghouls. Let's go with ghouls.
Let's go with ghouls.
1 out of 10 ghouls. How real do you think this movie got it?
Personally,
yep.
I'd have to say it'd be 8 ghouls out of 10.
8?
8.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
It was sensationalized a lot.
Yeah.
But it got a lot of things right as well.
Wow, I thought you'd be a lot lower.
No, it's.
I'm going a 7.
You're a 7? Yeah.
I'm going a 7.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, obviously Hollywood does play a part in it.
Definitely.
But yeah, I think it hit the nail on the head. Maybe my standards are a little bit like higher than yours there.
I think it's.
Well, you're a ghost, so that extra point.
I've got to say 8 because the demon on that's my employer. So
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I've got to say.
You're coming back to life around your mouth as well.
Oh, jeez, I've been reading.
Season 1 face.
It's all things. It's all thanks to the Ouija board. I'm coming back to life for the Ouija board. So, do you want to hold it?
No,
sure.
It's all right. No, we've been through this. That's all right. In summing up, I think we can say a 7.5 out of 10 ghouls if we were to put our scores together. I think that's what the men behind the curtain as a whole will give Paranormal Activity.
Definitely.
All right. Oh, there we go.
My makeup started.
In any case, this is where we'll end tonight's festivities. Thank you very much for watching. If you got the patience to watch through all of this, thank you very much. If you like what you saw, we've got 7 more episodes this season. A few other movies. Follow us on, Facebook?
We've got Facebook, we've got Instagram, we've got, fucking TikTok now too.
You filmed that TikTok of me getting angry while we were setting up this set. I don't appreciate that, but we'll get into that later. That's
so hilarious when you're angry.
All right. In any case, guys, please like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And follow us as we are going to announce what episode we'll be doing next week on The Men Behind the Curtain.
Put your finger on it so we can say goodbye.
No.
Oh, come on.